Breakups can be devastating. The pain of loss, the lingering emotions, and the uncertainty of what comes next can feel overwhelming. But what if I told you that suffering is not caused by the breakup itself, but by how we choose to perceive it? As Epictetus said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them. Right now, you may be feeling stuck in an emotional storm, unable to let go of the past. The memories replay in your mind. The what-ifs keep you awake at night, and the thought of moving on seems impossible. But Stoicism for breakups offers a different perspective. Instead of seeing this as an ending, what if you viewed it as an opportunity? A chance to build resilience, gain wisdom, and rediscover your own strength. In this video, we're going to explore 6 Stoic principles to help you heal and move forward. You'll learn how to detach from what you cannot control, reframe pain as a lesson, and develop a mindset that allows you to find peace and purpose after heartbreak. These are not abstract ideas, they are practical steps that you can start using today. Healing after breakups with Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions or pretending the pain doesn't exist. It's about facing reality with clarity, strengthening your character, and finding the power to move on gracefully. By applying Stoic wisdom, you'll regain control over your thoughts, free yourself from unhealthy attachments, and step into a future shaped by your own choices, not by your past. And make sure to stay until the end, because the last lesson is the most powerful one. It will shift the way you experience relationships forever. If you're ready to take control of your healing and move forward with clarity, let's dive in. And if this resonates with you, don't forget to like and subscribe to Stoic Teachings today so we can continue exploring these timeless lessons together. Number 1. Accept that breakups are a part of life. Breakups are among the most painful experiences in life. They shake our sense of stability, leaving us feeling lost, heartbroken, and overwhelmed. It's easy to dwell on what went wrong, replay past conversations, and ask endless what-if questions. But Stoicism for breakups teaches us to approach these moments with a different mindset, one that replaces resistance with acceptance and emotional turmoil with clarity. The Stoics remind us that pain is not caused by events themselves, but by our judgments of them. We suffer because we believe that breakups shouldn't happen, that love should always last, or that losing someone means losing a part of ourselves. But Marcus Aurelius challenges this thinking when he writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The reality is that breakups, like all aspects of life, are inevitable. No relationship is guaranteed to last forever, and expecting permanence in an impermanent world is a sure path to suffering. When we resist reality, we make the pain worse. The more we cling to how things should have been, the harder it becomes to heal. But when we accept that breakups are a natural part of life, we take the first step toward inner peace. Instead of viewing them as failures, we can see them as transformations, necessary endings that make way for new beginnings. The Stoic approach is not to deny emotions, but to learn from them. When we accept that relationships, like everything else, are subject to change, we gain the freedom to let go of bitterness and resentment. Imagine watching the ocean waves. The tide comes in and the tide goes out. If we expect the waves to stay still, we will only be frustrated. But if we accept their natural rhythm, we can find peace in their movement. Breakups are much the same. No matter how much we wish things could remain as they were, life moves forward. Instead of fighting against this current, we must learn to flow with it. Healing after breakups with Stoicism means shifting our focus from loss to perspective. Instead of saying, "I lost someone," we say, "I experienced something meaningful." Instead of thinking, "Things should have turned out differently," we think, "This was exactly how things were meant to unfold." Every relationship, whether it lasts a few months or many years, teaches us something about ourselves, about love, and about the human experience. Consider a moment in your past when something ended, maybe a job, a friendship, or a chapter of your life. At the time, it may have felt devastating, but looking back, you can probably see that it led you to something new, perhaps even something better. Breakups are no different. They close one door, but they always open another. The pain you feel now is not a punishment. It is a signal that something has changed. And that change, while difficult, is an opportunity for growth. To apply this mindset, practice detachment from outcomes. Remind yourself daily that life is a cycle of beginnings and endings. Reflect on past experiences where you overcame hardship and found something greater on the other side. Accept that no single relationship defines your worth, your future, or your ability to love again. By shifting your focus from loss to learning, you empower yourself to move forward without resentment, regret, or despair. This is what the Stoics teach us. We are not victims of breakups. We are students of them. And with the right mindset, we can take what we've learned and step into a future filled with strength, wisdom, and new possibilities. Number 2, detach from what you cannot control. Breakups are painful, not just because of the loss itself, but because of how much we resist the reality of what has happened. We replay conversations, analyze every detail, and wonder if we could have done something differently. But in truth, no amount of overthinking can change the past. Stoicism for breakups teaches us one of the most powerful lessons in emotional healing. Let go of what you cannot control. The Stoics remind us that suffering often comes from our attachment to things beyond our control. Epictetus puts it plainly: some things are up to us, and some things are not. The outcome of a relationship, the feelings of another person, and the choices they make. These are not within our power to change. Yet, we often waste our energy fixating on these things, hoping to rewrite a reality that has already been written. When we detach from what we cannot control, we take back our power. Instead of obsessing over why a relationship ended or what the other person is thinking, we focus on what we can influence: our own thoughts, our own responses, and the way we choose to move forward. This shift in mindset is liberating. It frees us from unnecessary suffering and helps us direct our energy toward healing rather than dwelling on what is no longer ours to fix. Imagine standing on the shore, trying to stop the waves from reaching the sand. No matter how much you resist, the tide will rise and fall as it always has. But when you step back and accept the movement of the ocean, you find peace in its rhythm rather than frustration in its inevitability. Breakups work the same way. When we try to control outcomes that are beyond us, we create stress, sadness, and endless mental struggle. But when we step back and recognize that the only thing we control is our response, we free ourselves from the burden of resistance. Healing after breakups with Stoicism does not mean suppressing emotions or pretending we don't care. It means redirecting our focus from loss to self-mastery. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" we ask, "How can I grow from this?" Instead of clinging to resentment, we learn to accept, reflect, and evolve. Every experience, no matter how painful, contains a lesson if we are willing to see it. One way to practice this is through journaling your thoughts with a Stoic perspective. Whenever you catch yourself thinking about what you cannot change, write it down. Then, next to it, write what you can control. Maybe you cannot change the fact that someone left, but you can control how you show up for yourself. Maybe you cannot change their feelings, but you can choose to cultivate peace within your own mind. By training yourself to focus only on what you control, you break free from the cycle of rumination and self-doubt. You regain clarity, strength, and emotional resilience. You realize that you were never meant to control others. You were only ever meant to master yourself. And once you accept this, you step into a future where you are not defined by loss, but by how powerfully you rise from it. Number 3. Reframe pain as a path to growth. Pain is an inevitable part of life, but how we interpret it defines whether it will break us or make us stronger. Stoicism for breakups teaches us that pain is not the enemy, it is the raw material for growth. When we shift our perspective and see pain as a teacher rather than a punishment, we begin to transform suffering into wisdom and loss into opportunity. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the key to healing after breakups with Stoicism. The event itself, losing someone we love, may be out of our control, but the way we perceive and respond to that loss is entirely up to us. Pain is not just something to endure, it is something to learn from. Every difficult moment carries a lesson, and when we stop resisting pain and start questioning it, we unlock its ability to shape us into something greater. Think about the hardest experiences of your past, the heartbreaks, the disappointments, the moments when life felt unfair. At the time, it might have seemed unbearable, but looking back, those moments forced you to change, to grow, to evolve. Perhaps they revealed your inner strength. Perhaps they taught you something about yourself, about love, about resilience. That is what pain does. It refines us, like fire tempers steel. When we go through a breakup, our initial reaction is often to resist the pain, to escape it, to deny it. But avoiding pain only prolongs our suffering. Instead, the Stoic approach is to face it head-on, to sit with it, and to ask, "What is this teaching me?" Maybe it is showing you where you place too much of your self-worth in another person. Maybe it is revealing the areas where you need to grow: patience, self-love, emotional stability. Maybe it is reminding you of the impermanence of all things and the necessity of finding strength within rather than outside yourself. A powerful exercise is to journal through your pain. Each time you feel overwhelmed, write down the lesson this breakup is teaching you. Maybe today it teaches you patience. Tomorrow it might teach you self-reliance. Over time, you will see a pattern emerge. Your pain is shaping you into someone wiser, stronger, and more resilient than before. When we reframe pain as a path to growth, we stop seeing ourselves as victims of circumstance and start viewing ourselves as students of life. No experience is wasted if we choose to learn from it. The heartbreak you are experiencing now might be preparing you for a greater love, a deeper understanding of yourself, or a new level of strength that you never knew you had. The pain is temporary, but the wisdom you gain from it will stay with you forever. By embracing this mindset, you turn a breakup into a turning point, You move from despair to empowerment, from loss to transformation. And when you look back on this moment in the future, you will not just see pain, you will see growth, resilience, and the beginning of a new chapter that would have never been possible without this experience. Number 4, master your inner dialogue. The way you talk to yourself after a breakup determines how quickly you heal and move forward. Stoicism for Breakups teaches us that mastering our inner dialogue is one of the most powerful tools for emotional recovery. The thoughts we entertain shape our reality, and if we let them spiral into negativity, self-doubt, or regret, we only prolong our suffering. Instead, we must become the conscious architects of our internal narrative, directing our thoughts toward growth, resilience, and self-improvement. Epictetus reminds us, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of things. In other words, it's not the breakup itself that causes pain, it's the meaning we attach to it. If we tell ourselves that the end of a relationship means we are unworthy of love, or that we will never be happy again, those thoughts become our reality. But if we reframe the situation, we can see the breakup as a chance for transformation rather than as a tragedy. One of the most important Stoic lessons is to be aware of the stories we tell ourselves. Imagine your inner dialogue as an ongoing conversation. Are you speaking to yourself with kindness and wisdom, or are you repeating destructive and self-defeating narratives? Every time you catch yourself thinking, "I wasn't enough," or "I'll never find love again," recognize that these are just thoughts, not facts. Replace them with more rational and empowering reflections. This experience is helping me grow, or I am learning what I need in a relationship. A useful technique is Stoic journaling, writing down negative thoughts and then questioning their validity. For example, if you write, "I feel like I failed," challenge that belief. Did the relationship end because of one-sided failure, or was it a natural conclusion to something that was no longer aligned? Writing these reflections down allows you to take a step back and see your thoughts objectively rather than being consumed by them. Another powerful method is the view from above, a Stoic practice that encourages you to zoom out and see your life from a greater perspective. If you imagine yourself 5 years from now, looking back at this moment, what will you think? Will this breakup still hold the same emotional weight, or will it have become a pivotal moment that led to personal growth? This mental exercise helps separate transient emotions from lasting truths and reminds you that the pain you feel today will not define your future. When you master your inner dialogue, you regain control over your emotions. Instead of allowing your mind to be a source of suffering, you turn it into a place of strength. Breakups will always bring some pain, but by consciously choosing how you interpret them, you transform loss into wisdom, regret into acceptance, and heartbreak into a stepping stone toward a better version of yourself. Number 5. Practice Amor Fati. Breakups often come with resistance, the feeling that things should not have turned out this way. We replay conversations, regret choices, or wonder if we could have done something differently. But Stoicism for Breakups teaches us a powerful alternative. Amor Fati, the love of fate. Instead of resisting reality, we embrace it fully. We don't just accept what happened, we learn to love it, knowing that every event, even heartbreak, is part of our journey toward growth. Nietzsche later popularized this idea, but it has deep Stoic roots. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it. Pain, loss, and even betrayal, rather than destroying us, can be transformed into fuel for wisdom and resilience. Instead of seeing a breakup as something that derailed our life, we can reframe it as something that shaped us into someone stronger and more self-aware. Imagine two people going through a breakup. One fights against reality, constantly wishing things had turned out differently, replaying scenarios in their mind and refusing to move on. The other chooses Amor Fati, accepting that this chapter has ended and looking forward to what's next. One stays trapped in suffering, the other moves forward with clarity. Which person do you want to be? This practice does not mean suppressing emotions or pretending the breakup didn't hurt. It means acknowledging reality without resentment. If the relationship ended, then it was meant to end. Not because of fate in a mystical sense, but because reality has unfolded exactly as it has, and fighting against it only prolongs suffering. By aligning ourselves with what is, rather than clinging to what was, we free ourselves from unnecessary pain. A practical way to internalize Amor Fati is to see every past relationship as a necessary step in our personal evolution. Each experience taught us something about ourselves, about love, about what we need in a partner. Every challenge sharpened us. The Stoics would remind us that the best response to pain is to use it as a tool for growth. Rather than asking, "Why did this happen to me?" we ask, "How can I use this to become better?" Another way to practice this is through visualization. Instead of dwelling on regret, close your eyes and imagine your future self, stronger, wiser, and at peace, looking back at this breakup with gratitude. See how it led you to new opportunities, deeper self-awareness, or even a better relationship in the future. This shift in perspective transforms pain into progress. Loving fate does not mean passivity. It does not mean we don't take responsibility for our actions or learn from mistakes. But it does mean we refuse to be victims of the past. We recognize that everything in life, including breakups, is part of a grander process of becoming. Stoicism for breakups teaches us that peace comes not from changing what happened, but from changing how we view it. When we practice Amor Fati, we stop resisting life and start embracing it, knowing that even heartbreak is shaping us into the person we are meant to be. Number 6, move forward with purpose. Moving forward after a breakup is not just about leaving the past behind. It's about stepping into a future with clarity and purpose. Stoicism for breakups teaches us that every ending is also a beginning, and how we move forward determines whether we stay stuck in suffering or transform pain into personal growth. This moment in your life, no matter how difficult, is an opportunity to redefine yourself and your path. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about your neighbor, unless with a view to some mutual benefit. Think rather of the precious privilege you have to think and to act." Dwelling on what your ex is doing, questioning their motives, or wondering about what could have been, none of these actions benefit you. What does benefit you is taking this moment to decide, who do I want to become? What values do I want to embody? How can I use this experience to strengthen my character? The end of a relationship can leave an emotional void, but nature abhors a vacuum. If you don't fill that space with something meaningful, it will be filled by default with regret, nostalgia, or longing. Instead, fill it with purpose. This is the time to focus on things that align with your values, whether that's your career, your health, a creative pursuit, or deepening your relationships with friends and family. Rather than seeing this as an absence, see it as space, a chance to redirect your energy towards something that brings fulfillment. A practical way to move forward with purpose is by setting virtue-driven goals. The Stoics remind us that external things, relationships, wealth, reputation, are beyond our control. But our character, our actions, and our responses are always within our power. Instead of making your future about finding another relationship or proving something to others, make it about becoming the kind of person who lives with integrity, wisdom, and resilience. What daily habits can you develop that align with these virtues? How can you turn this pain into a catalyst for self-improvement? Another way to ensure you're moving forward rather than just drifting is through journaling and reflection. Each morning or evening, take a moment to ask yourself, what did I do today that aligns with my values? Did I act with patience, discipline, and clarity? When emotions arise, recognize them without judgment. Instead of thinking, I miss them, I feel lost, reframe your inner dialogue. This is a natural reaction to change. I am learning to detach. I am becoming stronger through this process. Breakups often make people feel like they need external validation, that they need to prove they're doing well, that they need to be in a new relationship to show they've moved on. But the Stoic mindset for healing after breakups is about inner validation. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. You only need to be honest with yourself and live in alignment with your values. The best proof of your growth is the peace you cultivate within. Lastly, embrace the idea that moving forward does not mean erasing the past. It means integrating the lessons, carrying the wisdom, and walking forward with intention. Do not see this breakup as a failure. See it as part of the necessary shaping of your life's journey. Every experience, even heartbreak, contributes to the person you are becoming. Stoicism for breakups is not about numbing emotions or pretending they don't exist. It's about acknowledging them, accepting reality, and using that reality as fuel for growth. Move forward with purpose, not as a way to escape the past, but as a way to step into the person you are meant to be. This is your moment to rebuild, not from a place of loss, but from a place of strength. Breakups are never easy, but they do not have to define your future. Stoicism for breakups teaches us that pain is temporary, and that our response to loss determines whether we remain stuck in suffering or emerge stronger and wiser. By accepting what we cannot change, detaching from uncontrollable outcomes, and mastering our inner dialogue, we begin to regain control over our emotions and our path forward. Each challenge in life, no matter how painful, presents an opportunity for growth. As Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This breakup does not dictate your future. It is your mindset and actions that shape what comes next. If you reframe pain as a teacher, if you embrace Amor Fati, the love of fate, you can transform loss into a source of strength. Rather than resisting reality, make peace with it, and use this experience as a stepping stone toward becoming a more resilient, disciplined, and fulfilled version of yourself. Moving forward with purpose means redirecting your energy toward what truly matters, your virtues, your character, and your growth. Let go of resentment. Release attachment to what no longer serves you. Instead of seeing this breakup as an ending, View it as the beginning of a new chapter, one where you are in control of your own happiness. The principles of Stoicism for breakups are not just concepts, they are practical tools you can apply every day. Start by observing your thoughts without judgment. Reframe negative emotions as opportunities to practice patience and resilience. Shift your focus to what you can control and build a life that aligns with your values. The more you integrate these lessons, the more you will find peace. Not because life is without hardship, but because you have learned to navigate hardship with wisdom and strength. If this video has helped you see breakups in a new light, consider leaving a comment below. Share your thoughts, your experiences, or even a Stoic lesson that has helped you heal. And if you found value in this, remember to like and subscribe for more insights on healing after breakups with Stoicism and moving forward with clarity and purpose. Thank you for watching Stoic Teachings today. And remember, your past does not define you. How you choose to move forward does.